Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. It's high time we address the elephant or elephants in the room with regards to certain events that may or may not happen at this particular point in time and silver. So let's explore. Several members in this community and other organizations have predicted that we may see a dramatic downturn or a certain course of events that could be almost cataclysmic as to the end of the system that we have or what have you. There's been a wide variety of predictions that made right around this time, and I thought it was kind of fascinating, so much so that I did a video on it not too long ago. Some were most assured that we would see something happen. Now, I've done videos about certain predictions like this in the past, and all that kind of prognostication, it's interesting, and especially if it's organically produced with well-reasoned analysis behind it. But nonetheless, we have to think about the possibility that it may not occur, may not happen. Now, as I record this video, we are hours away from Thanksgiving, which is one of those times that many people thought it would be, we could see a dramatic downturn into the negative in this economy, in this situation. But nonetheless, as time marches on, the wheel goes round and round, we are not seeing some of what has been predicted come to fruition, at least yet. Now, there has been some predictions that have been made by certain national hosts or analysis that has been given. Well, we got the timing wrong, but everything else is falling into place, and it's just a matter of time as to when these things will occur. But this video is about why you should continue to stack silver specifically, even if these events don't happen at a certain period of time. Now, many people feel that the kind of system we have in this country, especially with what the Federal Reserve is doing, the amount of debt that we keep accumulating, many people thought it was unsustainable to have a $20 trillion debt, much less almost a $32 trillion debt. It is racking up quick. And even with this quantitative tightening that is going on, many people feel that a lot of these policies, a lot of these Keynesian policies are just not going to last in this country. But I tell you what, there's something to be said for this. Yes, the ever-hated dollar, but it's what we use every day for our goods and services, even though it is falling dramatically at a rate of just under 8% per year now. Inflation is high, but we are not in a hyperinflationary state. And some people say, well, it's pulling back some, but you got to think about it. It's actually pulling back, but that's stacked up on top of what it was a year ago. And a year ago, it was starting to rack up pretty dramatically just under 7%. So where does this take us? This takes us to a situation where we could see for months or even years of a sustained system under the dollar. The dollar still is the king of all currencies. The dollar strength is as such that it is the best of the currencies that are out there, and it's still not saying much because it is the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry pile. But the thing about it is that all of these predictions of a specific point in time, even though I think they're well-meaning, it does tend to lead us into a path where we are thinking we better do something before Thanksgiving or before Christmas or before the next date or a time when this is going to occur. In fact, many people feel because of the energy crisis that is brewing in through that will occur in through January and February of next year, that's when it will be. And I can very well see that could happen, but nonetheless, it may not happen with the dollar. There may be something that just barely keeps it afloat. One thing you've got to say about our economy here in the United States it is resilient. Remarkably so, even with supply chain problems. Right now, we are now sitting on the precipice of perhaps yet another strike that could happen, where the railroads could be shut down. And that is going to have put a greater effect on the supply chain. That will be a dramatic turn, potentially, for the worse if this occurs. And this could happen within days. So who knows? They could be right. But nonetheless, silver is the metal that seems to be the most reactive to these types of things, because when gold goes up, silver tends to go up even more. When gold goes down, silver seems to go down even more. It's a very volatile metal. I think you should stack no matter what. Hold on to your silver, buy responsibly, and just see yourself through these situations. Now, some of this information about what was going to be happening here around Thanksgiving time was organically driven, which I found pretty fascinating to me, that it was organically driven. And I'm not saying it still couldn't happen. It very well could. But the thing is that we have to take some of this stuff, at least as for a grain of salt, and not be operated out of fear. Because what's going to happen is going to happen. Preparedness is not something you do at the last minute anyway. And that includes stacking silver. Because in the end, the elephant in the room, such as the case here, that you see before you in this display, is something that it's going to bear down on you hard. And it's all about fiscal responsibility. You can get into trouble buying silver, especially in an emergency situation where you're thinking it's going to do you good. But in reality, even if it's a Great Recession or even a mild depression situation, really the last thing that people are going to be thinking about, likely, is silver in those times. It's about getting the staples, such as bread, food, water, all those types of necessities. Those are the things that matter the most. Silver is something to have as a savings vehicle, as a store of wealth and of value to use in barter situations. But in the case of a great recession, another great recession, or even a depressionary state, it may take a while for those prices to catch up. And even after the last great recession, what happened in 2011 really was loosely tied to it. It was about, I guess, the supply of silver at that particular time, in operation out of FOMO, fear of missing out, that led up to that price run as an anomaly during that time. And we could see that again potentially, but kind of not as likely. It was a very strange thing that occurred then. But nonetheless, the idea that you'll take your silver and sell it and to be able to get stuff that you need at the time in that situation very well could be the case, but you may not see the price reflect compared to the things around you, especially if we see a stagflationary situation. Stagflation is something that is a very real possibility during these times, and silver prices may not reflect that, much as how the light is reflecting off of these pieces that you see before you here now. So the elephant may bear down in terms of that thing and that weight of what silver's value could be. Maybe some could compare to an elephant, but maybe in reality, it may just be that it may just occur to be two little soft and cuddly kitties, such as you see here. And you enjoy those cats and you hold on to them, but they don't really have a whole lot of weight to them. Although I tell you, if it was representative of the coat of arms on the reverse of this Salvation Nation round, one side would be much fatter than the other. One of my cats is very, very chubby, for those of you who've seen it in recent video here. But nonetheless, whether you have kitties or elephants, holding on to silver, I think, is a good idea. Stacking silver is a good idea with well-reasoned motives. In other words, you want to make sure you stack it in preparedness for such a time as when the price goes up and you can take advantage of some gains, which those gains you can hope to expect for as a wealth preservation device, or you might have to sell at a little bit of a loss, but you have it as a savings vehicle But really the best way to have that as a last resort, and really the idea is to have enough of these, or have enough food stockpiled, unperishable, non-perishable goods to have in your holdings as well. That's what it's about. And it's also okay to enjoy your silver. This display that you see before you here is some silver that I enjoyed at one time. I bought these things, and I'm actually, part of this video is to ask a question to the community about these silver pieces. These are high relief Somali elephants, and from 2013 to 2017. Does anybody know if they made any in 2018 or 2019? 2013 was the first year of issue, but I don't know if there's any that have been released since 2017, or if they're continuing this series now. I kind of would like to get the complete series now that I've pulled these out to show you for this video, but ideally and ultimately, the ultimate goal for stacking silver is to preserve your wealth, but it's okay to have a little bit of fun with it as well too. And these are high premium proof silver high relief rounds or coins, depending on how you look at it, because they are Somali, and some people feel that Somali coins were minted outside of the authority of the Somali government, which, by the way, the Somali government, if you want to call it that, is really kind of a loosely tied organization. Of course, I don't know, at least it was at the time when when the elephants have come out. I think it started in 2004. So there you have it. But the elephants in the room are still in the room. But the thing is, and the message here is to keep on stacking no matter what happens, whether or not there's some grand collapse or not. If things don't happen for another 10 years, the message is to hold on to your silver. We'll see what happens. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Hope you found this video insightful. I want to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.